Okay, good. Barbara can hear me now. Tom, can you hear me? Jim? We'll wait another couple minutes. I apologize for starting late. It's 7:09. Okay, I hear somebody connected. Cool. Tom's on. Okay. Well, that sounds good. It sounds like we've got a group of people getting that are starting to get online. So I'll go ahead and start. Um, let's see here. Octavio, I know there's a way to mute other people. I'm getting a little bit of an echo. So do you happen to know how to do that offhand to prevent the echo? Actually, maybe if I do, I'll try that. Can you still hear me okay? Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. Tom can.
But you need to mute all.
Octavio, Kevin, can you guys hear me?
Yep. I don't know how to mute myself.
You can suggest to mute to individually, or you can mute all. In the little telephone at the bottom left, there is an icon to mute all except you.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, cool. Well, I'll go ahead and get started. I apologize for getting starting late here. So what we're going to do is we're going to, well, let me present this real quick. We're just going to cover a couple housekeeping things real quick. Here, I'll swap these here. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about building apps for Office into your Access Web Apps. And we're going to be using the Bing Maps as the piece that we're going to integrate. I'm also going to show you a little bit about integrating apps into Excel, so you can kind of get a feel for a couple other another app as well. Here's a little bit of my contact information here. If you ever need to get a hold of me, I'm going to record this video, and we'll at the end of this call, I'll give that information to you guys as well, in case you have any questions that you want to ask offline. I'm going to be keeping the chat window open on my side, so if anybody has any chat questions, please go ahead and type in things into the chat window, and I'll try and keep an eye on that as well. So this is the second meeting that we've had of the Access user groups, and so basically what we're doing is we're going to meet the third Tuesday of every month. The agenda is basically going to be just a really quick welcome, and then we're going to talk about just a little quick introduction into Access Web Apps. I just want to spend maybe 10 or 15 minutes for people that they haven't seen what Access Web Apps are, or they're interested in web apps as it compares to Access databases, client desktop databases. Then we're going to have a feature presentation that normally takes about 40 to 45 minutes. And we're going to be talking about, obviously, tonight we're going to be talking about Office Web Apps. And then we're going to have a little Q&A as well, so people can bounce ideas off of each other as well. So, and I have in here, so please invite your friends. So just a little intro of me. My name's Andy Tabis. I've been developing Access databases since '94, version 2.0. So I've been doing it for a few years. I've got a company here in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and probably 85% of our work is Access desktop client databases. And we've got 3 clients now that we've built Access Web Apps I gave a presentation of one of my largest apps, which is called the WaterfallCalc, which is basically a high-intensity calculator for the mortgage industry. And then the other part are different things like .NET, ASP.NET, other kind of apps, and that kind of stuff, support and that kind of stuff. So what I want to talk a little bit about Access Web Apps versus regular Access Client apps. So Access Web Apps basically allow you to build easily an app that you can host in the cloud using things like basically you're basically housing it within SharePoint, and it's got a SQL Azure backend. And so along with that, you can invite as many people as you want to utilize that app, and like I said, it's very easy to create. You can actually build an app in 5 to 10 minutes, and so I'm going to do that right now. I want to kind of show you how to go about building an app real quick. So I'm going to go ahead and pop up an area here. This is just my little test area that I use, kind of like a little bit of a sandbox here. So in order to add an app, all I need to do is click here. We're going to add an app, so I'm just going to click on that. And within here, the fastest way for me is I just start typing in Access. And I'm in the site contents under Your Apps. I just typed in Access, and it popped up an Access app here. I'm going to go ahead and click this, and allow me. It's going to allow me to store this. So in this case, we'll call it Access Web Apps 002 and Office Web Apps, because that's what we're talking about tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Create, and what you'll find is it's going to go ahead and start creating the back end of this portion right here. So depending on your internet speed, I've seen this taken 5 seconds to go. So right here it took maybe 10 seconds, 15 seconds. So now it's done because it says New. Now at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to click on it, and it's going to basically allow us to create this. It's going to create what's called an ACCDW file. So I'm going to click on Open this app in Access to start adding tables. And when I click this, you'll see that it downloads this ACCDW file. Now when I click on this, it's going to open up Access 2013, and it opened it up on the wrong screen. So hold on a second, let me move that over. And we'll expand this. Okay, so at this point, we have this little foundation created, and we have the capability to either add tables or we can create a blank table here or create a new table here, whatever you want. The templates that are built into Access 2013 are really good, so I strongly encourage you to try and find something through that, whether it's person or meetings or whatever it is that you happen to be working with. So if I were to type in like events, maybe I want to, or if I want to create a project management database, doesn't matter. We'll type in project. So in here, we can see we can create projects, home construction, employees tasks, and it shows you the templates that you can start from. Now, the nice thing about this is we're going to go ahead and click on billable hours. I know a lot of you, like me, are consultants. Maybe you bill out your time to other companies. So what this is going to do is it's going to go and grab your table. It's going to build your table structure as well as views. Now, think of views interchangeable with forms. So when it creates a view, and you can see it's created 4 areas here in the navigation bar. So if I click on this, we can see hours, and we have a list and a datasheet view, rates, clients, and employees. So in here, it automatically creates a list view. Your list view is kind of like a two-columnar form that it creates automatically for you. We didn't have to do anything magic. It just does it automatically for us. And it also creates this little area to be able to to be able to search by people quickly. So it creates, again, a two-columnar format along with a way to filter information, that kind of stuff. It also creates a data sheet, which is kind of like an Excel spreadsheet. It's just a data sheet with all the columns going across. And it also creates in this case, because we're dealing with employees, you can actually group by department or things like that. So along with that, we've got employees, we've got clients. It does the same thing. You can put in your clients here. So right now we're actually viewing this within Access. And if I want to view this in my browser, what I'm going to do is up here on the left-hand side, we're going to click on Launch App. And so when I click on Launch App, it's going to open up my browser, and then it's going to show us our web app inside of our browser. So right now, it's taken us into this area. We don't have any customers in there yet, so we're gonna add some clients to begin with. So I'm just going to click on clients. It's automatically got us in insert mode. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll grab me Andy Tabis, and I'm not going to fill in everything. So it's got that information here. Now, as soon as that information is within the system, it automatically adds it over here on the left-hand side. So if I were to save this record, you can see now it automatically inserts Andy Tabis as the name, or Smart Database, so it automatically does that for you. If I were to add a second one, and I think I added Tom last time as well. Whoops. Get rid of that. If I could type, I'd be doing good. So you can automatically put in that information. And again, I'm going to click on Save. As soon as we click on Save, it automatically shows up in the left-hand side. One of the cool things that I like about this two-columnar format is with the list views, it does it automatically. And you could see it took us maybe 5-10 minutes to create an entire app. So it's a very quick to do. It's very easy for an end user to develop a system, and we can, obviously they can see it by data sheet or list view or group. So it's very easy for them to do it. But the other thing I like is, a lot of times when I go and visit a client site, it seems like the different programmers that I follow, other developers that I follow, it seems like they've got different ways of adding records or deleting records or editing. And within this view, you've automatically got plus for add, the little trash can for delete, edit, save, and cancel. So it automatically creates those in the same area every time, so that a customer doesn't need, just like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, all the file edit menu, they're all in the same area. Just like when you're developing a web app, it does it here. The other thing, the other thing I would kind of want to point out also about the web apps is that I can take this web app and I can make it available to whoever I want on the internet. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll create what's called a hybrid, I call it a hybrid app, which basically I create the Office web app, and all this information is stored in SQL Azure. So it's that portion's that's the back end, and then I'll create a desktop app which resides on the local company server, and then I use the GUID to connect to the data set behind the scenes. And that way, it's very easy for me to put stuff out there for the internet, maybe for vendors to see or customers to see, but then I can build a more powerful desk internally as well. One thing also to kind of, and I'm going to jump back over to Access real quick, so bear with me for a second. And I'm going to go ahead and open up the navigation pane. Within here, we basically have, we can create tables, queries, list views, macros. Notice there are no reports here. So the views are kind of how you're displaying the information on the web. Whenever you go to print out data that's within a web browser, it's not the prettiest thing in the world. So one of the things that we like to do is we'll create the report system on the desktop database, and then we'll build a routine that allows the client to, or whoever's using the web, to say, hey, send me this report in PDF format, and we allow the desktop database to do that portion. So I know I've kind of flown through how to create an Office web app very quickly. If you've got any questions or anything, feel free to throw it in the comment area for me, or in the chat window, and I'm happy to answer that. So the place that I want to talk about now is basically what I think of extending the capabilities of Access. When you're building an Access web app, there is no VBA code behind the scenes. You're limited to what is in the macro and data macro world, and so as long as you can do those kind of things, you can do it through the macros, and the macros are quite extensive. But for those of us that are very used to writing VBA code, you just can't do everything that you want to with VBA code, as much as we try and work around things. So Access, the Access web apps have its limitations, but I can see that Microsoft is going to continue to build on that. So tonight we're going to be talking a little bit about extending the Access web apps by utilizing Office web apps. And if you guys can just comment in the chat window that you can still hear me okay, or you understand what's going on, just so that I know that you're still out there. That would be great. Sounds good. I see Tom replied. Cool. All right, Barbara's on. All right, cool. Good. Sounds great. And so I'm going to jump over to Excel for a minute, and I'm going to kind of show you, let's see. How did I get it up here? I don't see it. And so there are limitations within Access because of being able to only use the macro language. So one of the things that Microsoft has come out with are what's called Office web apps. And so what that allows you to do is within Word and Excel and Access and Outlook and things like that, you can add on things to your Excel file or your Word file in order to add additional functionality for the user. So, for instance, in a Word document, maybe you want to add a translation, or within Outlook, maybe you want to add a Bing map, or within Excel, maybe you want to add some other capabilities. I'm going to go ahead and create a see that right now. I'm going to show you how an Office web app works inside of Excel, and then we're going to show you how it works inside of Access. So within Excel, we're going to click on Insert up here, and you can see we have my apps as well as the store. Now under my apps, right now I don't have anything in here, but let's say I know there's an app called Bubbles. That's kind of cool, and basically it allows you to see information in kind of bubbles that move around. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to jump over to the store, and then in apps, when it opens up apps for Office, you can see the different things that are in the store here. I'm going to go ahead and just type in Bubbles and hit enter. And so here's the Bubble app. Now right now there's not any Access apps for Office Store, but there is. I will show you how to add the Bing map for Access. It's called just Bing Maps for Access, and you're looking for what's called a manifest, which is an XML file. But we'll get to that in a minute. So in here, I'm going to click on Add, and now it takes us to the next screen. We just need to trust it. And so what that's going to do is it's going to add this Bubbles app to Excel as a web app. So in here, we can see Select Table, Sample Table, and Settings. I'm going to click on Sample Table because what that's going to do is it's going to build a table off to the left-hand side here. If I have a smaller area, I can click on Select Table, and I can tell it, I only want to look at this information or whatever. In this case, I want all that information itself. And it's going to take the data that's over on the left-hand side. And the cool thing is, as we change some of these numbers around, it affects the information that's inside of here. So I know one of the samples that Gary Demendorf uses for his demo is Seattle's NFL score. I can't remember what the scores were, but I'm just going to show. I'm going to type in a number here, and you'll see that as I type in the bubble size, this is all interactive. So this is a web app. As I move things around, it's all very interactive. It's really kind of cool to see how that works. So you can add these kind of apps into your applications, and there are some that are released to the Office Store that you can download now. Some cost money, some don't. So some are free. But as I can see this as especially this year progresses, I think you're going to see more and more different web apps that are going to be out there. Because I know we're going to probably in the fall we're going to start working on some web apps ourselves. So, but again, as you modify the numbers here, it changes them around. So it's kind of slick how that works. Now, within Access, we also have we can also add. In this case, we can add the Bing maps to our Access app. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to we don't need Excel anymore. I'm going to go ahead and close that out. I'm not going to save that. I think you all know how that works, so I'm not going to save that. And in this case, let's go ahead and I'm going to get rid of this database. Don't need that. And we're going to actually create a brand new one from scratch. We'll create a brand new database from scratch. I've got a link here to the App Store just so you can see it. You can basically just search for Office Store. You can look for apps for Office and SharePoint. You'll be able to find that. And in order to get the Bing map, you'll basically you want to search for Bing Maps for Access Manifest file. And basically, this is a download. This is an XML file that you will download, and you will add this as an app to your SharePoint site. So I've already downloaded and installed it, so we don't have to do that here. But if you ever need to look it up, Bing Maps for Access Manifest file. Okay, so we're going to jump over to over here. I'm going to go back to Site. And in this case, I'm going to create a brand. And again, if you have any questions about what I've done in Excel, please stop me. Ask whatever questions. I have a tendency to talk quickly. So if you have any questions, please stop me. Otherwise, I'm gonna keep going. Especially since we ran a little bit behind. Okay. So in here, I'm going to go ahead and create a new Access app. So I'm going to click on this again. I'm going to type in Access to grab Access. Just click on that. We're going to call it AWA 002A, adding an Office web app. So I'm going to go ahead and create that. And so you can tell which ones it's doing, because you can see it says we're adding your app. Click here to cancel. And like I said, sometimes it takes, the fastest I've seen it take is like 5 seconds. So it's done. If you have a slower internet connection, this may take a little bit more time. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this again. And this time, and I'm going to always run that. This time I'm going to do this as well. I'm going to download this as an ACCDW file. So we're going to open this again. And this time we're going to use meetings as kind of our demo. So I'm going to just type in meeting and search. And so again, there's a bunch of different things we can do here. Meetings, tasks, schedule, shifts, service businesses. There's just all kinds of templates. So if you're looking for things, I strongly encourage you to try and search for a template first. And more often than not, you'll find something that'll work close to what you're needing, and you can modify it for your needs. So we're just going to grab meetings in this case. And the reason I'm doing meetings, I thought a good example. One of the things that I've been doing, there was a user group conference in Portland a few months back, and I demoed the app that we have called the WaterfallCalc app. And by the way, I clicked on meetings. It automatically added that here, but I was too busy talking to click. So this is, you saw it automatically created your list and data sheet and stuff like that. But since the Portland user group, I've been going around the country and talking about Access Web Apps to the SQL. If you're into SQL, SQL, there's user groups all across the country. And so I happen to be invited by, I don't know, 6 or 7 different ones now to come speak at their conferences because the Access Web Apps are built in SQL. It's got a SQL Azure backend, and so those guys want to know about it as well. And so in here, under meetings, we have list and data sheet, and we've got this information here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to edit this, and oh, you know what? I'm not going to do that. Instead of that, I'm going to go into the navigation pane, and I'm going to edit the table. So I'm going to double click on the table, and in here, I'm going to go ahead and add I don't know, attendance. So that'll say, you know, how many people are actually attended this thing. So I'm going to add a number. We're going to grab a whole number here. General number, default value is 0. That's fine. So now I'm going to go ahead and save this. And one thing I want to point out, after we add this here into the table, you'll see that it automatically adds it to the list view. It just adds it as a field here, and also in the datasheet view. If we look at the last field of the datasheet view, the reason I point that out is if we went in and I clicked on edit and I modified this 2-columnar format, and then I added a field into meetings, it will not automatically add attendance here. We just need to make sure that we go into edit view and then just add the field that way. I just wanted to point that out. So here we have the list view and datasheet view. And at this point, I'm going to go ahead, save this, and I'm going to click on Launch App. And this is going to launch the app in our web browser. So now we're in our web browser. We can see datasheet. We can see list. We can add data here. So I'm going to bear with me for a second. I'm just going to pull up some actual dates here. So okay, so back in June, I actually spoke at the Detroit SQL users group, and there were about 20 people in attendance. For location, I'm going to go ahead and put in Detroit, Michigan. So we're going to save that. Whoops, it's asking me for a date. That was June 12th. Okay, so we add that. And again, in this case, we have that as a required field because it is a meeting. We don't have to, you know, some cases we wouldn't have to have that. But I want to put in the title, the event date, the attendance, and location. And I'll show you that. So we're going to save that. Now we're going to add another one. In this case, I spoke at the Fort Lauderdale SQL Saturday. Okay, and then the event date for that was June 14th. And I'm just going to make up these numbers. I'm not positive where that is. Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I'm going to add some additional records as well. So we've got that. We'll add another one. In this case, it's Rochester. That was the 21st. That's Rochester, New York. And again, I'm not positive how many there were there, but I'll put in a number here and save that. And then hopefully there's an access day going on in Denver in October. And we'll just put in 100 people. And so hopefully Jim will allow me to speak at that one. So we've got that information added. Now, normally, if we wanted to edit this database in Access, up at the top right-hand side, I've got the settings. So we can click on Customize and Access. And so if I were to close out of this, I'll close. So now this is empty. If I were to click on Customize and Access, it's going to take this file, save this as an ACCDW, and then when I open up this in Access, now we can see our meetings table that has our attendance. We can see our meetings list, which has our, all that stuff. So we've got, it downloads the app for us. Now I'm going to go ahead and close it again. And in this case, what we're going to do is we've got that right here. It says Apps for Office. Now, in this case, we're going to be working with Bing Maps. So when I click on this, this will show you what apps were already added to your internal app. So I've already added this Access Bing Map for Access. Again, this is a preview one that you can download. And then I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and then click on Start. And what it's going to do is it's going to add that to the bottom portion of your Access app. So it downloads it right here, and then it kind of steps you through what to do with it. So it says, welcome to Bing Maps, select your locations from a column. Well, we know our location is in our location field. So I'm going to go ahead and click on select data. And in here, since in this case, we only have one table here, only one data set. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and choose location, because that's a location. We're not really using revenue, but we're using attendance. So we're going to grab that information. And then in this case, we're not using the expense column here. So I'm going to just hit the minus sign. That will delete out that column because we don't need it. So we're going to go ahead and choose OK. And so now it has these highlighted where these took place. So you've got New York. You've got a little one for Detroit because that's a smaller group. Now, if I were to go into Detroit and I'm going to edit that one, and let's say instead of 200 we had 2,000 attendees. I'm going to save that. So now this becomes a bigger circle compared to Denver's little circle. So depending on what the value of this is, you can see that. In this case, I'm displaying all the locations. I'm displaying New York. Just like in Bing, I can double click on it to zoom in, and so as I zoom into things, we can see it. So you can see attendance 140 if we were to highlight that. If I were to add a new one here, I'm going to just go ahead and do Albany because that's the one I'm speaking at next week, Saturday. So if I were to put in Albany SQL Saturday, that's next week, Saturday, and that is in Albany, New York. And let's go ahead and say 1,500 people. And so as I add these things, it's automatically going to add those to the map. I'm going to go ahead and just to make these a little bit bigger for you, I'm going to go ahead and make these bigger values here. So Detroit, Fort Lauderdale is tiny. We'll make that one, edit that one. Go ahead and make that one 1,000. Save that. Rochester, that one's at 140. We'll go ahead and edit that, put in that 1,400. And save that. And so now we've got these, you can see the different values here. Right now, you can see here, I'm using Bing. So right now I'm viewing all of the different locations. If I want to, I can toggle that to only see one location. And so as I click through the different records, it's going to zoom into those. So it's going to, so this is kind of a nice thing. If you have, if you have data that you want to be able to do that, you can zoom in. And again, this is all Bing Maps. I can, just like with Bing, Bing regular maps, I can move things around. I can double click on it, and I can continue zooming in. I can also change this to say, I really want to see this bird's eye view. So we'll go ahead and change that. And so now you can really, zoom into what you're looking at. We can go as far as we want. So if we happen to put in, Pennsylvania Avenue for the White House or whatever it is, you're looking at that real data. So it's just a really slick way of adding capabilities to your app that you wouldn't normally, that you just don't have in a regular Access app. I'm going to go ahead and switch it back here to view all again, show all locations. And there's also this little button called filter. Now, what this does is it shows you all the locations that you have in our data. And so if we only want to see Colorado, Detroit, and Rochester, doesn't matter, whatever. By doing that, it's filtering it just so that you can, except it would be nice if I came down here and clicked on apply. That's a big help. So now it's filtered just by Denver, Detroit, and Rochester, whichever one I think it was Rochester I picked. So you can utilize the filter in order to do that as well. Now, notice that when we added this web app, it kind of gave us, this is called an iframe, and it gave us this block. Well, we can still resize that through Access. So if we were to, again, take it here, click on Customize and Access, it's going to download that ACCDW file. We're going to open it back up again. And in this case, we're going to go into Meetings List. And so within the Meetings List, you can see this is the box that app is in. And that's all it says is Apps for Office. So as you add these apps, they'll add them underneath each other. So you just kind of have to remember what order you added them. I think in the future they'll do a better job of labeling what those actually are. But for now, just remember the order in which you did that. And you can see I dropped the location down here. I'm going to go ahead and move that back up here. In this case, we don't use description, so I'm going to get rid of that. I don't use start time, end time. Get rid of that. So now we've got title. Can move that over. Widen this a little bit. So now you can see that we've narrowed down the size that we have this. So now we're going to go ahead and save this again. And after it's saved, now we're going to go ahead and open up this app again. And this time you'll see that it resized into the area that we want to work with. So as you do different things, maybe you want to add a chart, maybe you want to add that Bubbles app that we did in Excel. You can do different things like that. So it's pretty slick. Like I said, I think as we get further down the road, you're going to see a lot more functionality happen with this, with these apps. I'm also really interested to see, if you had a wish list of apps that you'd like to see added into Access Web Apps. I'd be really interested to hear what those are, and maybe we can add those to our wish list of creating those. So I'm going to just kind of open it up to the floor, and if anybody has any questions, go ahead and ask those in the chat room. And we usually take this area. It's about 7:54, so we actually caught up on time, which is good. So we've got about a half an hour left for that we utilize basically for Q&A. So any questions that you want to ask in the chat room, that's great. If you guys want to bounce questions, if I can't answer them, I know Tom's as experienced as I am with the web apps. I know Kevin Bell knows web apps really, really well. So we got some good people here to answer your questions. What I think I'll do is I'll go ahead and I know this is a scary thing because people can talk over each other, but if you have any questions, you can go ahead and ask them in our group here too as well. Maybe I stunned everybody. Gosh, everyone's quiet. Okay, so Barbara is asking, what other useful apps have you used? And right now, I've used that Bubbles app in Excel. Right now, the only one I know that's out for access is this Bing web apps. I'm sorry, this Bing Maps for access. So I haven't seen any other web apps out at this point. I think they're hoping to launch something within the next month or so. But I know that I've heard, there was a demo that was put on by Gary Devendorf. I'm actually going to pull up the link to it here. If you didn't, back in March, and back in March, there was a SharePoint conference, and Gary Devendorf put on a little seminar about the apps for Office back then. And I know that they were targeting. At that point, he was mentioning at the end of May that they would have some, and then. But I know they're targeting for some. Yeah, I see Kevin Bell just answered here. There are about 8 or more apps coming soon. I don't know, Kevin, if you're able to hint on what any of those might be. But I'm sure the Bubbles. I'm sure the Bubbles app will be one. I'm sure things like this where you can chart things, and I think yeah, Kevin says every time he hears it's 2 week. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm hearing too. I'm sure they just want to test it and just make sure everything's working great on it before they release it. If you have a chance to watch this demo, it's I think it's about an hour long. Is this one? Yeah, this one's a little bit over an hour to watch, but it's really good. It shows you the Bing maps, kind of like what I did. They also have a chart over to the right hand side in their case they were talking about baseball games and stuff like that. It's a very informative one. The other thing that this one also goes into is some of the stuff that they're doing. Like here, they do it in Excel, and if I can So, oops, let me back up a little bit. They also talk about things that they've added to Outlook. Like here, this is Word, and they did a Bing Translate. So within the Office store, you'll see that they have the ones that are, there's different types of apps that are being used. For Access, the biggest thing for us we need to watch for are content apps. Content apps are the only ones that will work within Access itself. And maybe what I'll do is just take a second and just show you if you're here and you want to add the app, basically within here, I can click on Access, and I gotta remember if I'm doing this right. So here, nope, that's not right. So I've already forgotten how to add the Office app to it, but I think that here it's kind of details the manifest. Yeah, so this file is an XML file that you save to your system, and then you have to upload it as an app. Okay. Any other questions out there? I'll pop up my oops. Try that again. Again, here's my contact information if you want to send me an email or give me a call. Good. Barbara said thanks. Octavio said very cool stuff. Cool. And like I said, if you enjoyed this session, like I said, we're going to have it the third Tuesday of every month again. And so I encourage you to invite any friends you have. I think we're going to have some cool topics as we go along. I will be recording each session as we go as well, so that if you miss any, we'll have those posted. So I know the person that there's a woman, Susan, that does the kind of the admin for the Access User Groups group, all the groups through accessusergroups.org, and she's on. She had to head back to the UK she's on medical leave, so I think when she gets back, those will be posted up there. Okay, Tom is saying, is there an announcement email list for announcements when the new extensions are available? I don't know of any. Kevin might know if there's a way to sign up for those. I'm sure there'll be. I know there's an an Access blog, a Microsoft Access blog, but as long as you pay attention to ours, I'm sure I'll be notifying people when they come out, because I'm going to be watching those and playing with those when they come out. So I'll as part of our regular emails that go out, I'll make sure that you guys know about any extensions that come out. And what I envision happening in the future is taking, the apps that we use, that we create, the .app files, and making those available for people so that you can install those into your SharePoint site as well. So you can utilize those, play with those. So I'll have those available for people within the next 2 to 3 weeks as well. And if you happen to be attending, I know the Saturday after next, I'm going to be in Albany, New York. So if any of you are in Albany and want to come to the SQL Users Group, that would be great. The Saturday after that, I'm going to be in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, speaking at their SQL Saturday. And then the Saturday after that, I'm going to be in Indianapolis speaking at that SQL Saturday. So the SQL Saturdays are just really neat groups of people. They're free to attend, and they have all different kinds of sessions. One of them that I attended, they actually had 7 different rooms, all different sessions going on at the same time. So it's some are pretty big, and it's the people that are there. Even if you're not a SQL person, I'm not a big SQL person. I know enough to be dangerous, but just attending those, you can hear about business intelligence, and you can hear about reporting, SSRS. You can kind of expand that kind of stuff as well. Good information at those. Just go to SQLSaturday.com and you can find out about those. I know there's one also in Denver in October, October 20th, I believe, somewhere around then. All right. Any other questions? Otherwise, I'm going to wind this up. Okay, for any of you that are still there, I know people have been dropping off, and I want to demonstrate something that I've been playing with, and as I get better at it, I'll be doing this more and more. But there's I've got this. It's kind of like an Xbox camera, and it's called Personify. And if you haven't seen this, what it is it's kind of like a I love techno gadgets, and so if you can see here, it's kind of like I look at it as kind of a weatherman on a green screen, and so with Personify, I can make things really scary. I can make me really big. And so in the future, as I'm giving discussions, I can make me really small. But the way this is used is when you have, let's say if you're giving a PowerPoint presentation, you can actually point at the different parts of your, of the presentation. So it's kind of like the green screen that happens with weather, meteorologists and stuff like that. You can see, I can turn on my background or not, so you can see behind me. I'm in my downstairs office. I can hide that. I can do different things like different lighting effects. Let's see here. And yeah, so they have different ones for standing, sitting, different things like that. So it's kind of cool. So in future presentations, I'll be doing this more. So I just want to see. I just want to ask you guys that are left that does it look okay on your end, or if it's interesting because if the back, what's behind you, is the same color as your shirt, then it looks like you can see through the person and stuff like that. It's kind of funny. But how, for you guys that are left there, does it look okay, or does it look really strange? I can also turn on a ghosting effect, so I can look like a ghost around the screen. I think it's kind of a weird one. Yeah, I just don't know if this is going to be too weird for people or not. All right, cool. I'll go ahead and hide that. So we'll be doing some more of that. So, all right, good. Well, I appreciate your time, guys. Again, if you have any questions, you know how to get a hold of me, and I appreciate you. I appreciate you joining the session. Have a good night, and we'll see you in a month.